And good morning. I'm the Reverend Tom Rosiello, minister of this congregation, and it is truly wonderful to welcome you as we once again gather in our usual way for a Sunday morning service. I want to thank the Reverend Ann Hayes Egan, who led the Sunday morning in-person gatherings here at the Allende during May. And also the several people who hosted the Zoom discussions on Sunday morning in May. I've heard wonderful things about both. But now we're all back together, not just here in this lovely room, but also connected with those who are joining us via Zoom this morning. It's good to be back together and to experience the fullness of worship. If you started attending during May or are a guest for the first time today, I want to personally welcome you this morning. And if you are new to the fellowship and here in the room, I would invite you to stand just so everyone can see who you are and so they can reach out to you and welcome you after the service. We have some guests. Welcome. And if you are with us on Zoom this morning, please type your name into the chat and where you're from so that our Zoom host can greet you after the service. We all come here from different places. Different paths have led us to this sacred gathering. We each bring unique insights, beliefs, traditions, experiences, convictions. We come in response to a calling to be part of something greater than just ourselves. We open our door wide, saying to each other, in the words of that spiritual Paula beautifully presented as a prelude, there is plenty of room here for everyone, regardless of your race, your gender identification, your sexual orientation, your ethnicity, regardless of your age, your health, your economic status, regardless of your theological beliefs. You are welcome here, and there's plenty of room, good room for you here. In this time of increased attacks on some people, a time when individuals who are again being demonized for who they are, it is important that we are explicit with our welcome. With open arms, we welcome those who are excluded or worse, attacked by other faith traditions and by their own government. We welcome the LGBTQ+ community and especially trans folks who again are experiencing hatefulness in so many ways, from the denial of rights to the denial of medical care. We welcome all those who've come to Mexico from the U.S. to find a safe and welcoming community. We are here for you. You bring so much to us, and we are honored when you join and participate in this congregation. To so many people who are overtly or subtly excluded, marginalized, or forced to be less than their full self, we say you're welcome here. There's plenty of good room. And for those of you who are threatened by anti-Semitism or anti-Islamic sentiment, we want you to know you too are welcome here, and there is indeed plenty of good room. We don't always get it right. We mess up pronouns. At times we fail to be as sensitive as we might be, or perhaps we forget that people are still struggling to openly and honestly and proudly be who they are and not live in fear. But we continue to try to get it right, and we stand proudly committed to the values of our tradition. Yes, we're all different and unique, but we are so much more alike than different. We're all seekers of wisdom and truth. None of us have all the answers, but we explore the questions together. We need one another to make our lives meaningful, to truly know who we are, to celebrate our joys and gently hold us in our sorrows, to give us strength to meet our personal challenges and the challenges of a very troubled world. So we walk together on that journey in a way which will deepen our own spiritual life, while at the same time unite us around shared principles and values in common cause and purpose, enabling us to better reach out to each other and to the world. Worship is the time when we weave our convictions and our questions, our joys and our concerns, our gifts and our needs into the common fabric of religious community. Together we kindle this single flame. A single flame reminding us of the unity that can exist amidst all our diversity. We light it as a beacon of welcome and hope for a better world, and as an emblem of the divine spark within each of us that again and again sets this place ablaze. Every time we gather, something profound happens. And I invite you now to be open to that experience this morning as we join in singing our gathering hymn, number 347, Gather the Spirit. The words will also appear on the screen.
With
remain standing. And Sebastian and Jerome, are you going to do our covenant for us today? And also, Sophia, are you here? Could you bring me a cup of water? I forgot to get it. Thank you. It's right here. Who's doing what? Come on, guys. You started. It's over there, okay? Or here.
Oh. We respect the interdependent web of life and work for a just and peaceful world. We encourage the search for truth and meaning, strive for compassion in our relationships, and seek values that will benefit our lives and the lives of others. This is our covenant.
Respetamos todos los estilos de vida dentro de su red interdependiente y trabajamos por un mundo justo y pacífico. Alentamos la búsqueda de la verdad y la comprensión total. Nos esforzamos por mantener compasión en nuestras relaciones y buscamos valores que beneficien nuestras vidas y las vidas de los demás. Este es nuestro convenio.
You may be seated. Anne, would you join me up here? We are a caring community, and an important part of being that caring community is the sharing of significant joys, sorrows, and concerns of our members and friends. We do so with the hope that we'll all take note and reach out to each other, especially to those who are experiencing difficult times. For each joy, sorrow, or concern expressed, Anne will light a candle indicating that that person, or that thought, or that prayer is held in our hearts this morning. If you wish to have a joy, sorrow, or concern shared in an upcoming service, you may email it to me during the week. If you're going to be in the service, you may write it on a card, which the ushers will give you, as several people did this morning. And if you are on Zoom, I invite you to share now by typing it into the chat, and Diego will let me know if we have any there. Our first is a joy from Kate, Dawn, and Udam. Although they were very disappointed to learn that Udam's landscaping course had been unexpectedly canceled, they've managed to get Udam a seat in a foundational carpentry program, which he will take while he figures out what to do next. We're truly grateful to know that when one door closes, another opens. They also express a sadness that this is their last live service with us for a while. They're grateful to have had the support of this fellowship for the past 8 years, and they'll continue to join us via Zoom from Victoria, British Columbia. Their way forward is a bit uncertain, but they hope to be back at some point in the future, and we hope that's not very long away. Light a candle of joy for our pianist, Paula, who recently returned from Atlanta, where she was honored at the 50th season celebration of the Atlanta Chamber Players. She served that group for 38 years as founding pianist, artistic director, and then artistic director emeritus upon her retirement in 2015. The group is regarded as a pioneer among American chamber ensembles and one of the few performing arts organizations to reach a 50th anniversary milestone. Going to keep those joys coming. Last week, you can light a candle for yourself because you celebrated a birthday, and we want to wish you a happy birthday. And I believe it's tomorrow that Hillary Torella celebrates her birthday. So let's light one for her. And another joy for the new connections we're building with Sophie Cares, where we now have 8 members of our community living. A couple more joys. Cynthia Hall writes, being a part of this community in San Miguel is her great joy. And Pam Silver says she's grateful for the fabulous trip to Alaska and the Pacific Northwest with Kathleen Nolan. So, okay. I have a candle of great concern. 2 really significant concerns about actions taken by the Trump administration that directly impact Unitarian Universalist. The first one is in order to identify and neutralize groups that are radically pro-trans. And the second is a Department of Defense memo which removes 180 faith traditions, including Unitarian Universalism, that servicemen and women can identify as their tradition on their military records. We will stand with our trans people. We will stand with our UUs who serve in the military. And we will stay united against attempts to erase our faith tradition or the members of it. Our joys and concerns. Our joys and concerns are certainly not limited just to our own community and reach out to the broader world as well. We light our blue peace candle once again for an end to the wars in Iran and Ukraine, and we hold in our hearts all those who've been displaced, killed, or injured, or lost loved ones. And we light our Mexican candle for all those who have welcomed those of us who come from other countries so warmly to their country, and also in recognition of the poor treatment many of them receive in the United States. Before we light our final candle, let me check with Diego. Nothing, okay? So let's light a final candle for all those joys, sorrows, and concerns that are held deep in our hearts, but remain unspoken this morning. May this time of shared joys, sorrows, and concerns lead us to a better understanding of our community and to the precious gifts we possess that enable us to minister to each other and give us strength in our resolve to live the values and principles of this faith tradition. This is such a troubling time, such a stressful time, so much going on in the world. This morning, I want to take a few extra moments to pause and to breathe and to come together in silence. So followed by a beautiful reading written by Charles Gaines, Minister Emeritus of the church where I once served, and then after that, a beautiful recording of words by Carl Seberg set to a Transylvanian Unitarian hymn tune, We'll Have Our Candles. These words from Charles Gaines, I invite you into a time of meditation or reflection. How quiet it is when we have the patience to be silent. How much we can learn in moments like these. We can learn to have patience with ourselves, to better understand and like who and what we are. We can learn to have patience with others, to better listen to what they say and how they feel. We can learn to have patience with life, to better work with it rather than against it. How much we do need silence. Silence for truth, so that we may learn wisdom. Silence for wisdom, so that we may love. Silence for love, so that we may be just. Silence for justice, so that we may live fully. May we be more patient and more silent, so that we may proceed with courage and compassion.
Connections by the Reverend Earl Holt. The Reverend John Wolfe told us once about asking a member of his congregation why he kept coming back Sunday after Sunday. "You must have heard everything I have to say now at least a dozen times," John said to him. "Oh, I don't come to hear you," the man said, rather disconcertingly. "Then why?" "I come to see if something happens." "And does it?" John asked. "It happens every time," he said. "It happens every time." Now, if you come to church only occasionally, here or anywhere, or if you've never been deeply involved in the life of a church, not just over weeks or months, but over a number of years, I'm not sure you will understand completely what the man meant. It can happen that you walk into a given church for the first time on a Sunday and everything seems just right and suited to you. The music is good, the sermon is right down your alley, the people are congenial, and the coffee is good. That's good luck. The same kind of good luck you have when you go to an outstanding concert or play or a good performance. But to be in church, really to be in church, is not just to attend superficially, but to attend to yourself and to others, to make connection on a deeper level. Not just with a particular church on a particular day, but with a whole stream of life that has flowed into that moment and flows on beyond it. A living tradition and community formed over time through shared commitments and values, memories and hopes, joys and concerns and sorrows. And it is to make connection as well with an eternal spirit that has become embodied in that place and that people. Something beyond them, evoked through their working and worshiping together over the years. And what happens on any given Sunday is another chapter in an ongoing story. Momentous, even if in a small way, as a remaking of the community, which is continually being reshaped and reformed.
I now invite you to rise as you're able and join in singing "We Would Be One." I believe it's 318 and not 218 as your order of service says. Please be seated. When I was at Harvard Divinity School, the well-known Buddhist monk Thich Nhat Hanh visited. Of course, it was a big deal. And while he was there, he led an all-day spiritual retreat, during which he invited everyone to join him in a walking meditation around Harvard Yard. It was a strikingly unusual sight. In the crisscross pathways of the yard, where people are usually rushing in every direction, there was this little monk walking very slowly, deliberately, and quietly, together with a mass of people also walking very slowly, deliberately, and quietly. There was a real intentionality in the walking, not getting out ahead, not falling behind, but adjusting one's pace so that everyone walked together. Right in the midst of this walk, the dean of the college at the time, Jeremy Knowles, in his no-nonsense British manner, was briskly crossing the yard. He stopped dead in his tracks when he encountered the very odd scene. Well, odd at least for Harvard Yard. One of the university chaplains who was participating in the walk spotted him, and without varying her pace, slowly walked up to him, and when she arrived beside him, he asked, "What are they doing?" And she replied, "They're walking together." He paused for a bit, not sure what to say, but then blatted out in that British sort of way, "Oh, I think that's good for Harvard." Well, walking together is indeed good for Harvard, but it's equally good for us. In fact, it's more than good. It's necessary. And when I say it's good for us, I mean that on several levels. We all know that walking is good exercise. I just returned from Europe where I walked a lot, more than 10,000 steps every day. After a new hip, that was quite a feat, right? Our cell phones or our Apple Watches now even keep track of that for us, so it must be important. We are told getting those steps in is one of the best exercises, especially for older folks, that we can do. So at that level for certain, walking's good for us. Moreover, I find walking by myself, either in the woods or a beautiful garden, following a labyrinth, is a spiritual practice that nourishes me and helps me connect with that inner voice that some of us call God and others the spirit of life, or perhaps the interconnectedness of the universe. So walking is not only good for the body, it's good for the soul. But Thich Nhat Hanh was not walking by himself. He was walking with a group of people at a pace that everyone could be comfortable with. Perhaps a bit slow for some and even maybe a bit challenging for others. But what was clear was the people adjusted their gait, their speed, the size of their steps to those around them. When we walk together beside each other, we support each other. At different times, when we walk together, we might even lean on a person for support. But even if we don't need support, when we move together, we are on the same page and we can really engage with each other. The focus is more on being together and less on the destination. You know, the Harvard dean was right when he observed that walking together was good for Harvard. At an institution where individual achievement is so highly prized, the experience of walking together offered students something that is often missing at this esteemed institution. And I often feel that the same may be true for liberal religion. We celebrate the right of every individual to freely pursue their own truth. We stand for justice and in support of the oppressed. These are central to who we are, but it's not all of it. The way we are with each other, the way we run our institution, the way our leaders lead when they are the most effective, the way we care for each other, the walking with each other is just as important as how we reach out to the world or how we pursue our own individual journeys to find truth and meaning. In fact, it's foundational. Everything else we do must be built on that practice. The destination, if you will, is important. But religion itself is more about the unique, trusting experience of walking together, being together, moving together. The word religion, comes from the root word religio. And do you know what that means? It means to bind together. Being part of a congregation is not a spectator sport where you come for the show every Sunday morning, be it in person or on Zoom. It's being in a dynamic relationship where we adjust to each other in ways that bring out the best in each of us and at the same time makes great things possible to accomplish. Walking together is a metaphor for being in right relationship with each other. Buddhists like Thich Nhat Hanh teach us that one aspect of being in right relationship is being right-sized. There are times when we need to be small so that we can hear others. And there are times when we need to be large so we can be heard. It involves both attending to ourselves and to others. It is the key to meaningful membership in our congregation or any congregation. It is the very first lesson of leadership in a church. We don't have a creed which everyone must subscribe to. We don't have strict rules that must be followed, or a bishop or a pope whose word is final. We have relationships based on trust, shared principles, and promises we make to each other that we call a covenant. In the early 1600s, when our Salem, Massachusetts congregation drafted its very first covenant, which is a set of promises of how we'll be in relationship to each other. Do you know what promise they made to each other in that covenant? You guessed it, to walk together. I love our covenant, but sometimes I think about whether walking together should be more explicitly stated in it. Please don't get me wrong. A congregation needs to have a mission. It needs to reach out to the world. It should not be inward focused. But if the members are not walking together in the same direction at a pace that is comfortable for all, those other things will not be achieved. Leaders must lead not by demanding what a church must be or do, or pulling people along or pushing them from behind. Walking together builds a strong community, one which is able to adapt to challenges and to remake itself as circumstances require. When we walk together, we experience a bond with each other which allows us to develop trust and appreciate new ideas. For a time, we may be the leader, but carefully doing so as not to leave others behind. At times, we may follow, but staying close to others. But it doesn't work if a lot of folks are being dragged or pushed from behind, or if the leader has moved out way ahead without keeping an eye on if anyone's following him. When I say it doesn't work, what do I mean? Well, I've worked with probably 20 or 25 board presidents, including our presently very gifted president, Mary Lou, and many, many times that number of other lay leaders, and an understanding of this idea of walking together was almost always what made their time of service successful. I had several students and interns who were on fire, and they got so far out ahead of the congregation that people were not coming along with them. And I worked with a couple who were afraid to do much of anything, and the congregation went on without them. And even though they had good ideas, they were afraid to lead. A lesson that I learned early on is that you lead with one eye looking forward on the goal and one eye looking behind to see if anybody's following you. It doesn't matter how right or how laudable the goal is, what have you accomplished if folks are not walking with you towards it? Perhaps it's helpful to think about this idea in another context. It doesn't have to apply to a congregation. Why do you think we have pride marches or hunger or cancer walks? You could just give everyone an envelope and explain the worthiness of the cause you're working on and have them mail in a donation. No, the walking together is an important part of what's going on. And by getting sponsors for our walking, or others are metaphorically walking with us. In this being together, moving together, we build strong organizations which can reach incredible goals of raising awareness and financial support for worthy causes. Another area where the idea of walking together resonates in a congregation is in pastoral work. A minister or a member of our care team, our job is not and cannot be to solve people's problems, but it is to be present with them and walk a few steps beside them. Many of you know that I practiced law for many years before going to divinity school. And when people first hear about that, their reaction is usually something like, wow, what a change. And then a few other choice remarks 2 years later. But actually, there is a lot of communality between the two professions. One thing they have in common is that people generally come to a minister or a lawyer when it's a difficult time in their lives, not the best times in their lives, times when they're facing difficult situations. But the real difference is that when you go to a lawyer, you hand him your problems and you expect the lawyer to solve them. When you discuss a serious problem with your minister, what the minister can offer is simply to walk with you as you engage with the issues you're facing. Now, I know I've been accused of beating this metaphor of walking together to death before. But over the years, I've come to truly believe that it is what makes a church grow, avoids much of the conflict that can happen, and best serves its members and the greater community. A congregation that walks together does more social justice work as well as takes care of its members. And its people are happier, healthier, and when challenges come, better able to meet them. The metaphor of walking together for me illustrates a spiritual practice which is both one of private growth and church development, one fundamental to members and critical to leadership. These are parallel paths and mutually supportive journeys. Finally, the metaphor has also helped me visualize something else, and it's that something else the reading spoke of that you heard from Cathy earlier this morning. The metaphor of walking together, to me, represents the most fundamental reason for a religion like ours to exist. And that is, if you do not have to exist, and that is, you do not have to be on this journey alone. There are others here who will walk with you, even in bad times, even in confusing times. But as the Reverend Earl Holt suggested in the reading Cathy shared, it doesn't just happen. We must attend to ourselves and attend to others. The bonds of trusting, supportive, inspired, successful, mission-oriented, justice-seeking religious community are formed over time when we walk together in right relationship. It's essential to our personal well-being, and as the Dean of Harvard recognized for his institution, it's not only good for our institution, it is critical. It is the very foundation for all we do. And yes, each week, when we gather on Sunday morning, no matter the topic or the speaker, it is yet just another invitation to walk together. And indeed, when you accept that invitation, something profound does happen here. And the more you're part of that, the more you understand the power of walking together as one. Thank you.
Our weekly collection is a ritual that reminds us of the gifts we receive from this fellowship. When we give, we say yes to something we value. We say yes to the values of our faith, serving human wholeness, caring for our planet, upholding religious freedom, welcoming the stranger, loving one another. The collection will now be gratefully received in the Aldea and online.
Thank you for being with us today, for walking just a couple of steps on the journey that is the life of this congregation, walking them together. It's been just great to be in community with you this morning. Now, if today's message got you thinking, maybe if you're not a member, about becoming a member, maybe about seeing your membership in a different light, maybe considering how you might walk together with others in some leadership or ministry role in the congregation, I invite you to join me in the back room, back here after the service. Grab a coffee, come on in, and we're going to have some discussion for anyone who would like to be there. But first, I have a couple of announcements. Please take note. Next Sunday, June 14th, there will be no service either here in person or on Zoom. It's the Locos Parade, and we know from great experience it is impossible to get to or leave the Aldea. So if you're inclined, maybe enjoy the parade, sleep in, or engage in some renewing spiritual practice, or get together with friends to do it. The following Sunday, June 21st, is our General Assembly Sunday. It's always a wonderful service, and it's an opportunity to connect with UUs from all over the world. It's being broadcast from Louisville, Kentucky. Malcolm and I will be there in person. We'll send you, our staff will send you the information on the service, how to connect, the week before. And while I'm on the subject of General Assembly, there are other programs that you can join online. So check out UUGA online, and you may find some other things that you would like to take in. During the week, our regular activities will still be taking place. Zoom coffee with me on Tuesday, lunch and games on Thursday, and check the website for other recurring activities. We'll be back both live here at the Aldea or on Zoom on the last Sunday in June, where our service will be a wonderful presentation by our Social Justice Foundation. And now Marco Evangelisti from our Endowment Committee has some news for you.
All right, I just want to recognize two donations to the endowment. One by an anonymous donor in honor of Kate Greenaway and all her contributions to the fellowship in this many years. And a generous donation by Gloria Pardo in memory of her late husband, Jerry Foster. Thank you both.
We conclude our service with words attributed to the French philosopher Albert Camus. Don't walk in front of me, I may not follow. Don't walk behind me, I may not lead. Walk beside me. We now extinguish the flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, the fire of commitment to love and justice. These we take with us as our guide for the week ahead. And may peace be with you until we meet again.